Hey, hi, hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jess, and it is the mid-year time. This is kind of crazy. I'm actually kind of coming afterwards. I'm usually early, but we have passed the mid-year point in 2026. You guys, I know I say this every time, but just doesn't make sense. It does not feel like we have gone through 6 months of this year. Someone is screwing with the clocks. I just do not appreciate this. Life is just flying by, and I'm just like, it stresses me out. Not because I'm like, feel like I'm wasting my life away. I have done some great things. I have amazing things planned, but still, I'm like, we were just in January. I just moved here. How is it already July? Like, life is just flying. I don't like that. Like, I don't appreciate that at all. So just take it as your sign to like do the thing you've been putting off, whether that's decluttering so you don't have to live in a cluttered space anymore. I've been doing that this week, well, last week, or I don't know, like call a person that you've been thinking about and you keep putting it off, or take that trip, take a solo trip, go to a concert by yourself. You got to do the things because life is flying by. And it is tripping me out. And if you want to travel and you don't have anyone to go with, but you don't want to do it completely alone, you can join me. It ends up, there are people who've gone on a previous trip with me coming, but you may journey there alone, but you will be there and you're going to meet people and then you're going to be among friends and it's going to be amazing. So I have an Iceland trip coming up. Unfortunately, that one's sold out and it's closed now. That's going to be in September. Like, I can't believe we're under 90 days for that trip happening. What is happening? But if you've ever wanted to see the Christmas markets in Europe, in Germany and Austria, that trip still has a few spots left, and that's this December. Then in February, I'm going to Thailand. That still has some spots left. I'm really excited to do that as a group trip because I've wanted to go to Thailand for so long. It intimidates me to do it by myself, so I'm really excited to go with a group. We'll have a leader there, so like it's all organized for you. You just have to get there. And then in next October, I'm doing Slovenia, which is an Eastern European country, which does not get enough love like Western European countries. So again, group travel is a great way. If you want to go somewhere, you don't know anyone who wants to go with you, but you don't want to completely do it alone, you should come with me. Everything's going to be linked down below. Yeah, we're in freaking July. I don't know. So usually I've done the mid-year freakout tag. I can't remember the original person who made it. I don't even know if they're still on BookTube. I feel like as the years go by, the tag, some of the questions just really don't apply to me anymore. So this is like inspired by that. But I just wrote down some of the questions like I remember and things I want to reflect back on at this mid-year point, and then some of the goals that I have for the rest of the year. So that's what we're gonna do. Best book I've read this year, and I am not gonna include rereads in that because I did do a rereading project, but I would say Dominion by Addie Kitchens has been one of the best books that I've read this year. I just keep thinking about it. I loved the story and how it was told. I love the writing of it. I love the messaging of it. Because we are, is it the 80s or the 90s? In a Mississippi town. And it's really just like exposing people in the church. And there's been like one book I've read like that before, which was The Secret Lives of Pastors' Wives, I think, or Preachers' Wives or something. That was so good because as a Black person from the South and like going to church, I just know these people, and I just loved how we got to see how they acted to people at the church and like the people in their community, and then what they were really thinking and what they were really doing. There's also like this mystery element to it. I just think it was so well done. I heard the audiobook is really good. I didn't listen to the audio. My like small qualm was like about the ending, and really that I just wanted a different closure for this one character, but I feel like it was intentional how it happened. I don't know. I think it's a great book, and I recommend it. So I've still been thinking about that one, so Dominion has to be my answer. If I'm thinking about the worst book that I've read this year, there's options. I have options to choose from. It's between Half His Age, is that what it's called? By Jeanette McCurdy, and Headlights by CJ Lead. And maybe the Headlights would be more disappointing because I had high hopes for that one because I loved a book by that author before, but like Headlights sounded like it could be cool. Like it kind of has this serial killer setup that these people keep, basically people go missing and then their bodies are found, and like there's a singular hair tied around their tongue, but then there's also these people that show up and they're like with the skin of the body of the person that was killed. They have no idea what was going on, and so there's also like this supernatural element to it, and it had potential and it just fell so flat. The main character was just like not anybody that I care to follow. It just kept widening, like she just kept adding all of these things and not giving me enough answers, and then the answers that we got were just unsatisfactory, and it was just like too long, and it was a mess, and I was just so disappointed. But Half His Age, I really disliked that book. I really like Jeanette McCurdy's memoir. I also listened to Half His Age, which I think was also a negative because she narrates that, and I don't think she's a good narrator for fiction. I thought the setting whatever. The setting is in Alaska. I don't think it ever feeds into the book. The main character's name is Waldo. I also thought it was stupid. I know that's a small thing. I just hated it all. It was gross, and that's fine, right? Because it's a grooming relationship. It's a teacher-student, so it should be gross. But I just don't think it was well written. I don't think it was a good story. I don't think it added anything. I don't think I gained anything from it. I just thought it was bad. I thought it was poorly written and just like nasty for no reason. And it definitely, I know she said in interviews it was another like healing thing for her from, prior experience. So, that's all valid, but I still, as a story, I don't think it worked well for me, and hated every moment of listening to that. Yes, I did. I think one of the questions usually is best sequel, and I read The Tapestry of Fate by Shannon Chakraborty, the second book. The first one is The Adventures of Amina Al-Sarafi, and while I do think this one is different, like in terms of pacing and setup than the first book, I still loved it. I liked the differences that we got to see. Like there is still time with the crew on the ship, but then we get to see another part of the world, and I really liked that setting and the mystery that is set up and explored there. I do miss, because you don't get to spend as much time with the full crew in this story, so I did miss that, but I still really loved it. And just the whole setup of what was going on. Like, I know some people may not have liked that and felt like that was slow, but I liked the change of it not being mostly on a ship and she's still like having these missions, but this one is kind of extended, and I just like the mystery and everything, and all of that magic and lore that was explored there, where they went, and then especially getting to the end, oh my god. And so for a second book, I know a lot of times in trilogies the second book can feel really slow because it's just setting up to the third one. It did feel like setting up to the third one, especially how it ended, but I still enjoyed the journey we were on while we were in the second book. So that was an excellent sequel. I just love Shannon Chakraborty's writing, I think, and even if some of the characters, like Amina, I was frustrated with their choices and what they were doing, it's still an enjoyable experience. I'm still like interested to see what's going to happen and the interactions with other characters, and I just love it. I love it. I love her writing. She is incredible. I have yet to be disappointed, so I know that she is working on the third book. I don't know when we'll get it. I feel like probably more like 2028 instead of 2027. I would be really excited if it did come out next year, but excellent sequel. Can't wait to see how this finishes up. And I'm not pirate stories are usually not high on my list, but I read it because I loved the David Bot trilogy and I was not disappointed. Chef's kiss. I don't know if worst sequel is a question, but if I had to say worst sequel, so this year I reread The Chronicles of Narnia because I was discussing it with my friend Alyssa, and I could also say The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe as best sequels because it's still my favorite book out of that series. But worst And there are numerous ones. I really didn't like The Horse and His Boy, but I really hated The Final Battle. I think I've only read The Final Battle once before, and I didn't remember a lot. So rereading it, I was like, my God, it's just so... The Chronicles of Narnia starts out very... Especially if you're reading it as an adult, you can see the Christian inspiration, symbolism, allegories, but like they just get progressively, it's less symbolism and it's more just in your face. And the last battle is just like smack in your face. I hated that. It was just basically like, you like worldly things, you're going to hell. Yeah, it's just blatant Christian propaganda, and I really detested reading that. I don't ever care to read that again. The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe still holds up, still my favorite. I really love The Magician's Nephew. I liked Voyage of the Dawn Treader and Prince Caspian. But yeah, The Silver Chair, The Horse and His Boy, and then The Final Battle are my least favorite, and The Final Battle I think is just awful. I'm like, especially for this to be a children's series, I just think it's awful. Like, I don't know why it started out so, like, obviously as an adult you can see what things, you know, Aslan as a stand-in and all of these other things, but like the last battle really just is like, if you don't do these things, you're terrible, you're going to hell, and I hate that. Hated it. I think one of the questions usually is like, most beautiful book you've bought this year, and I haven't purchased a ton of books, but I would say that The Tapestry of Fate is probably the prettiest one. This is this from Goldberg? No. Who is this from? Waterstones? These editions are just so pretty. I love it, especially the map is just stunning work on this. There's nothing on this cover, it's just green. But yeah, I think this is definitely, oh, and then this. I think this is the cover art for the US version. I don't have that one, but this art is incredible. So this definitely is the most beautiful book that I've purchased this year. And then if I'm thinking about what my reading plans are for the end of the year, like books that I must get to or really want to read, I don't know. I haven't been keeping up that much with like books that are coming out. I don't know, just so many new releases. They're hit or miss. So I don't really have my finger on the pulse of new releases coming out. And so by the end of the year, I don't really have any books that I really must read. The only thing I know that I want to do going forward is with my Patreon book club, we are reading A Wizard of Earthsea, which is the first in the Earthsea series by Ursula K. Le Guin. I've never read any of her work, so I'm excited to read that. And then I am going to be hosting a read-along for the Villains series by V.E. Schwab. So rereading Vicious, which I loved, rereading Vengeful, which I DNF'd, and then reading Victorious when it comes out in October, because I'm really curious about how it wraps up. So those are 3 books on my TBR for the rest of the year. But everything else, I don't know. I have nothing set in stone really. But that can translate kind of into goals. One of my biggest goals is I want to really focus on reading books that I own. It's not like I've just been buying new books and reading those. It's that the library, which I love supporting my library, but I have all of these books and then I hear about something and I don't own it, so I go request it from the library and I just keep reading those instead of the books that I own. So I'm not going to be unrealistic and say I'm only going to read books that I own, but I do want at least 50% of what I'm reading every month to be physical books I've already purchased. Like, it's got to be. So essentially every other book I read needs to be one of my physical books. And it's just like, I want to read them. That's why they're on my shelf. So I just need to do that. It's less about wanting to get my unread books under a certain number, because I haven't even counted how many I have. It's just that I do want to read these and then find out if they're worth keeping, and if not, get rid of them so I make space for other books, because it's not like I'm ever going to stop buying books, you know what I'm saying? So I need to, and just so you know, have more things to recommend, books that I own, because I'm not reading a ton. I don't know. My reading has just been so, we're not gonna go there here. Reading more books that I own, major goal for the second half of the year. Also, I want to continue my like curriculum and share about that. I made that video, like my anti-curriculum, and then I was studying what used to be for Yugoslavia, the Balkan country. Sorry, I thought that was a bird. The Balkan countries, and I have been working on that. I just don't know how to film an update because my notes are chicken scratch. I also feel like I have learned quite a bit to where I have a good base of what happened overall, and I'm not finished. I still have like curiosities on certain things, but I don't know the best way to like update you because I don't feel confident enough to teach. So I'm trying to figure that out, but I do want to keep that up because I find that interesting. I really loved the recommendations and things I got on that video. So like, and I have other things that I would like to focus on. So I want to continue sharing that in whatever form I figure out to do that. I also want to keep posting vlogs. I know I haven't posted one in a week. I have been recording them. I just have to get to editing them. They are a lot of work. And I know it's not like a high return, but I want to, at least through the rest of the year, keep posting them to see if that becomes a good thing, if I want to keep up. Because my thing is usually I post a couple and then I give up and it's like, it's not giving enough time. So I want to keep posting vlogs through the end of the year. Maybe it's not every week, but maybe it's every other week that I'm posting one. So I'm gotta get back to that. I have like at least 2 already filmed and on my hard drive that I need to go through and edit. And also I want to start posting again to my other channel. So I did make a second channel when I was training for my marathon. I ended up only posting shorts because I would start recording long form content. I don't know. I had a lot of insecurities about it and whatever. I want to post more on that channel because there's just a lot of things that I would like to separate out from this channel and I want to post there. It's just obviously remembering to film content and then edit it for each channel, and I just gotta be disciplined. But as I need to be taking myself get off my phone more, like not be on Threads so I'm not getting annoyed, I need to put my focus on doing that. And so that's where I am for this year. My reading has been up and down. I've read some really good stuff and some very average things. Like my reading for June was very mid, flop city. But hopefully in focusing on reading more books that I own, hopefully I find a treasure trove of amazingness on my shelves. I would like to also add in rereading, because when I did the rereading project where I did that vlog, I'll link it here. I had such a good time. All of the books were great. They're all 4 stars and above on reread. So I'm like, obviously, Jessica, you have a good taste. And 2 of them were series that I want to continue. One was the Illuminate Files and the other one was the Foxhole Court. And I would like to continue rereading those. So I'll add that here as a goal. So how has your year been? What goals do you have for the remainder of the year? I would love to know. And then, what's been your best book and what's been your worst book so far this year? I can't complain, I guess, but again, still shocked we're in July. And I hate this because I don't like summer. I don't want to wish away the time, but I also am ready for it to be fall. Ugh, it's such a struggle. You know, what can you say? So that's it. That's my mid-year check-in. Love to know how your year is going. Thank you so much for watching. Stay blessed, hydrate, and moisturize, and sunscreen. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.